Today we start at the top of the Kabbalistic map with the concept that sounds the most abstract of all. And I hope that within around 10 minutes it will be about your marriage, your children, and the best boss you ever had. The concept is Ein Sof, literally without end, the infinite. But first, the experience. Nearly every human being has had some version of this moment. It is late, the house is quiet, and a question arrives that you cannot hold in your head for more than a few seconds at a time. Why is there anything at all? Not how did the universe start? That's a physics question. This is a vertigo question. Why is there something rather than nothing? Why does existence exist? If you have felt that, the floor tilting slightly, the sense of standing at the edge of something with no bottom, then congratulations, you have already met Ein Sof. That vertigo is the raw, untrained human encounter with the infinite, and the Kabbalists regard it not as a malfunction, but as the most honest moment in a person's inner life. Ein Sof is Kabbalah's name for God before and beyond every description. Not the old man, not the king on the throne, not even the creator, because all of those are already pictures, and every picture is a limit, and the infinite, by definition, has none. This is not mystical extravagance. It is the logical endpoint of the second commandment. A God who cannot be captured in an image cannot be captured in a concept either. The Kabbalists simply had the discipline to follow that all the way. Whatever you can think, God is not that. What remains when every picture is surrendered, the sheer unboundedness that your 3 a.m. vertigo brushed against, that is what the word Ein Sof is pointing at. Now, here is the problem the Kabbalists face, and it is a real one. If God is genuinely infinite, filling everything, no edges, no outside, then how can anything else exist? Where would it fit? An infinite light leaves no room for a candle. The answer given by Rabbi Isaac Luria, or the Ari, in 16th century Safed is the single most influential idea in the history of the Kabbalah, and it is called Tzimtzum, contraction or withdrawal. Before creating, the Ari taught, the infinite did something no pagan god ever did. It made room. It withdrew its presence, concealed itself, pulled back its overwhelming light, to open a space in which finite things could stand and be themselves. Creation's first act was not an act of power, it was an act of self-limitation. The universe exists inside God stepping back. Stated cosmically, that may still feel far away. So let me bring it a little bit closer, because here is the astonishing thing. Tzimtzum is something you already do, and the moments when you do it best are very likely the moments you are proudest of in your whole life. Think about teaching a child to walk. You are stronger, faster, infinitely more capable. If you exercise all that capability, if you hold the child every second, the child never walks. To let this small person come into his or her own existence, you must pull your power back, hover without holding, be present without controlling, allow the wobble, allow even the fall. Every parent knows this ache. It doesn't feel like weakness, it feels like the most demanding kind of strength. That is Tzimtzum. Think about the best manager or teacher you ever had. Almost certainly, what made them great was not the brilliance they displayed, but the space they created. They asked and then actually listened. They let you make the decision they could have made better. They withdrew enough for you to grow. And think about love itself. A person who fills every room, every conversation, every silence, leaves no space for another person to exist. The deepest act of love, the Kabbalists are telling us, is not self-expression, it is self-contraction, making room inside your life, your schedule, your certainty for a reality that is not you. This is why I said last episode that Kabbalah's most abstract idea is also its most practical. The Ari's picture of creation doubles as an ethic, and the Hasidic masters drew the conclusion explicitly to walk in God's ways. The Torah's own commandment now includes this. As he makes room, so shall you. The loudest person in the argument is not the strongest. The parent who cannot step back is not the most loving. The leader who fills all the space is not leading. Every act of genuine restraint for the sake of another person's flourishing is, in the Kabbalistic grammar, an imitation of the first act of creation. And there is a second consequence, gentler and, for some people, life-changing. Tzimtzum explains the silence. Many thoughtful people quietly abandon faith over a simple observation. If God is real, why is God so hidden? Why does the universe run on apparently natural processes? Why do prayers meet quiet? Why does the world feel most days like a place God has left? The Lurianic answer turns the question around. The hiddenness is not evidence of absence, it is the method of the gift. A God who remains overwhelmingly present would leave no room for you, no freedom, no growth, no genuine choice, no self. The concealment is the space in which your existence is possible. The Baal Shem Tov taught it with a father's image. A father teaching his child to walk steps backward, not to abandon the child, but to draw the child forward. The distance is the invitation. I do not offer this as a tidy solution to every silence. Some silences in this world are terrible, and Kabbalah does not cheapen them. I offer it as the tradition's deepest reframe. You were not left in an empty room, you were given one. The tradition itself argued about how literally to take Tzimtzum. The Hasidic masters, following the Baal Shem Tov, insisted the withdrawal is from our side only, a concealment, not a vacancy. The infinite remains fully present within the hidden space, the way an idea remains fully in the mind of a teacher who is simplifying it for a student. Others read it with more realism. That argument, Tzimtzum Kepeshuto or not, as the scholars phrase it, filled books. You do not need to resolve it. Both sides agree on the part that touches your life. The world you live in is a made space, made on purpose, and the Maker's restraint is a form of his love. So here is your take home in one sentence. The infinite created by stepping back, and every day hands you dozens of chances to create in the same way. Today, in one conversation, try it deliberately. Say less than you could. Listen past the point of comfort. Leave a space and let someone else exist in it. That is not a metaphor for Kabbalah. According to the Ari, it is the closest a human being comes to the first morning of the universe. In the next episode, that famous diagram, the 10 Sefirot, and why it is not a map of heaven at all. It is a map of your day.